Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another Real Madrid review. Real Madrid 1, Al Hilal 1. Not quite the start that people, including me, were expecting from this new era of Xabi Alonso, but can I sit here and say that I was not surprised? No. I, you know, I think it was very clear from the beginning what we were going to expect from this Real Madrid side. Thibaut Courtois said this in the post-match. I don't have the exact words he used, but basically what he's saying is that this team, most of the team, excluding Trent and Huijsen, most of this team still has that Carlo Ancelotti DNA in them in terms of how they play, how they set up, how they go out and play. And I'm not here to criticize that, but we saw the struggles in that game. And perhaps he's right. Because what we saw last season in terms of when Carlo Ancelotti was still here was exactly those struggles in big games. Now, Al Hilal, fair play to them, they cooked in the first half. The second half they faded away, but they still held on to that point, which is big for them. But for me, I am looking at this from a Real Madrid perspective, and I'm going, okay, this team definitely still has some Carlo Ancelotti DNA in them because the way they play, when you use the eye test and you watch players play. Apart from Trent and Huijsen, I am seeing glimpses of what we have seen. Now, I'm not gonna be here going 100% hard on players or on Xabi Alonso. I think it is extremely out of order to be coming in here and saying Xabi Alonso is, going to flop or, his system's not going to work. Guys, this team have had a few days together in the US to trade. He has probably had about a week, maybe a week and a half with them from Madrid and into the US. First of all, a non-footballing side of things, in a connection, interpersonal thing, has he been able to fully get to know the squad? Can you fully get to know a squad of players in about a week and a half? The answer is no. Players were traveling around for international duties. Some players were injured. Some players, maybe there were certain reasons, right? But players certainly and the manager are not going to be able to establish that style of play, but let alone that the style of the connection, the interpersonal connection, the understanding in terms of face to face, man to man, as players to manager, as manager to players. But we take away the interpersonal connections and back to the footballing side. If you can't get to know these players at the 100%, he probably knows them 70, 75%. If you can't even get that 100% in terms of individual players, and that's what Carlo Ancelotti was very good at. He was a man manager. He was able to wrap his arms around players and understand what they're going through, understand how each of their lives are, not too privately, but just in general, how their daily life is going on, and things like that. And that was what was somewhat holding the team on, because although the tactics weren't there, they were playing for the manager because they had that relationship. Now we move into the new era, the new system. Okay, a week he has had a week. He's not going to be able to know every single one of those players well. Okay, let alone likes of Vinicius Jr., Arda Güler, Lunin, for example. I know Lunin didn't play, but still it matters. But even with the other players who have been there since day one, since Madrid, since they were training, you don't develop that relationship in a week or a week and a half. You just don't. Let alone the implementing of his system. We can see on the pitch, half of it is that Carlo Ancelotti DNA still driving these players. I'm still seeing the same mistakes that you get frustrated as a fan. You're watching, you can see the full spectacle, you can see everything, and you're just thinking, man, that is a repeat. Man, that is something we've seen before. But I've also seen some differences in certain ways that I believe it can be a positive, and it will be a positive as long as we, as Real Madrid fans, as true Real Madrid fans, okay? I know people like to use the term glory hunter a lot, and I'm gonna say that I'm not one because personally for me, if the results are bad, we talk about the results. We talk about the performance. We talk about what needs to be improved. If the results are good, we celebrate together, right? But I think it is a joke if we start saying, we start targeting, we start insulting, we start blaming the manager when he's been here for a week and a half. And on these players, I think players have to take responsibilities whenever you don't win. And what I saw out there was some particularly very poor performances, some. And there were some very bright stars, bright performances out there. But overall, it wasn't good enough, ultimately, because we couldn't win. But look, I'm not going to be too hard in. It's the Club World Cup. Like I said, these players have not had time to be able to work with Xabi Alonso, to understand each other, to understand the style of play the manager wants, to understand the system, and ultimately, it's only a game. It's only the first game. That's what I meant to say. Now, is there an excuse? No. We can't use excuses to cover up the players. Players still take the blame. The manager ultimately we have to look at and evaluate and go what went wrong. But it doesn't mean you don't support and back them nonetheless. And I think it's a new era. We were all very hyped. We were very excited, and I think we still are. We still are hyped. We still are excited. You know, firstly, the summer signings unfinished. We haven't got a left back in, and I'm not gonna go in like I said on individuals too much. But Fran Garcia, we saw the struggles. He just probably isn't it, to be honest, and I'm just not sure he will ever be it. That backup striker to Mbappe, no Mbappe, and you see a struggle. And look, we say that, right? We say struggles. We say that. But the truth is the goal scorer is Gonzalo Garcia, the striker, the young star in the team, the academy player, you know? And that tells you a lot about what took place in this game. Now, I'm gonna go a little bit deep dive in terms of what I talk about. Usually, especially towards the end of last season, you just come on here, you talk about the goals, and then you just end because there wasn't really a lot to talk about. But what I wanted to talk about was just the team in general and what my thoughts are, obviously, right? Now, I'm gonna talk about individuals, and I'm gonna talk about personally, my thoughts on their game and my thoughts on what maybe the future holds for them, what the next few weeks, what the next few months may hold for them. I think personally for me, Courtois on that goal, could he have done better? It's a penalty, so no. Um, and look, Courtois on penalties isn't the greatest, but penalties is really a 50-50. You score some, you miss some, so I'm not going to blame him. Was it a penalty? Raul Asensio, very careless indeed. He got subbed off, not because of that mistake, obviously. I think he suffered maybe some kind of injury. But nonetheless, it was a very, very clumsy, careless mistake to make. And he's a youngster. He will learn from it. Young players, especially defenders, tend to make such mistakes. So I think we have to give him not a bypass. I'm not saying you just can't blame him. You can and you should, but we should be a little bit more understanding. And in terms of that, I think wrap our arms around him and just tell and just expect more next time from him, because I don't think we're gonna get that again. Hopefully, at least. I think that is a kind of rookie mistake, and he's too young. He's still learning. Fair enough. And then yeah, I mean, Trent, obviously Liverpool fans, Barcelona fans were all watching in this game just for that. Was Trent terrible? Personally, absolutely not. Was he caught multiple times? Yeah, he was. But again, it's that same thing as we've said before. These players need time. It's his first game. Not just any game. It's his first game of Real Madrid. And it doesn't help that his first game is under a new manager as well. So look, new manager, new city. Obviously, he's not in Madrid, but new set of teammates. Obviously, he knows Jude Bellingham very well, but other than that, new set of teammates, new manager, new style of play, new system. And the first game, you're in the US playing against a very relatively strong Al Hilal side. Obviously, I didn't expect a 10 out of 10 for him. More will come from Trent. Defensively, we all knew the moment he signed there was going to be questions, but I think ESPN, one of the panel um, journalists or correspondent, he said this: Real Madrid probably expect that Trent will make defensive mistake. They know, but they proceeded with this signing because they expect that offensive slash passing slash that positive slash good traits of his to outweigh the negative, which is the defensive side of the game. So ultimately, we should expect better. He will be better. We will see better from him. We will see those passes that might end up in a good position for it to be scored. And, it will come well. It's his first game. Give the man some time. Give him time. And the only people who are obviously going in on him are not Real Madrid fans. They are the trolls. They are Liverpool and Barcelona fans who are still salty. Okay? I'm not happy by any means with the performance. I can't say I'm happy with anyone. Like, very happy. But I think we need to be a little more understanding. And it's Trent's first game with new teammates, new manager, new system. And yeah, he will take time to get used to things, settle in, but eventually he will come good. He will. So believe, back the player, back the team, believe, right? That is what we need to do at this state of time after one game, right? Um, yeah, Dean Huijsen, actually, you know what? I said I wasn't happy with anyone. I was very happy with Dean Huijsen. I was. Um, from all aspects of his game, he was brilliant. Defensively, he's a war. He's a man giant. Um, Rudiger, I made this mistake in my preview. I forgot Rudiger was injured, so I put in my preview. But apparently, according to some reports, Rudiger might be back for that Pachuca game. I would like to see Rudiger and Huijsen play. Because if Xabi Alonso's plans is to go with a 4 back with 2 centre-halves, I reckon Huijsen might genuinely start ahead of Asensio. And it's not a good cameo. Now, for one game doesn't really determine the future squad. But as a first sort of impression, Huijsen put up that sort of performance. Probably one of, if not the best player on the pitch for Real Madrid. And then Asensio gives away a penalty. Overall, pretty poor. I mean, he goes off injured. And I think it will be Huijsen starting. And I think it will be Rudiger. And I can't wait for those two to play because I think we missed Rudiger today. I think we missed Mbappe a lot. We'll get on to that. But certainly, I think Huijsen made up quite a lot of ground for that. And he was brilliant. Really, really loved that signing. The footballing, the defensive side of things, brilliant. Tackling, interceptions, brilliant. And then to dribble the ball, to have that confidence, that self-confidence in him. And then the long-range passing. Not all were 100% accurate, not all were perfect, but it was brilliant. It was a breath of fresh air in the defense. If you can get in potentially Rudiger back fit next to Huijsen, I think them as a duo will complement each other very well, and they might make up some ground for Trent. Left back, Fran Garcia. Yikes. Look, if I come out here and I sort of protect Trent, I have to say the same for Fran Garcia. Um, but I think, yeah, I just think we can't go around having both Trent and Fran Garcia. I think we need to quickly make a decision. Are we going to keep Fran Garcia or are we going to keep Mendy? I have always been Mendy as an advocate for Ferdinand Mendy because, look, I think Ferdinand Mendy is a very good left back. I think in terms of what you want from a left back, I would rather a left back who can defend than attack. Now, a left back who can do both, perfect. But a left back that can at least do the basics of defending because they are a defender, yes. And I never actually believed that Fran Garcia would fit this 4-back if we were going to do it. He never fitted the 4-back with Carlo Ancelotti. I don't think he will fit the 4-back under Xabi Alonso unless Xabi Alonso goes to 3 or 5-back like he did with Leverkusen. And there's a little bit more support down that left side / right side as well. But yeah, I mean, not a lot going down that left side. But one thing I did want to praise him for, not really a praise, but I did witness, and I was looking out for this, right? This little thing going down Fran Garcia's side, which was the amount of crosses he would put into the box. And actually, funny enough, I don't know if he put any. He probably did, but it wasn't like last season. And I think Xabi Alonso must have told him that, look, under Ancelotti, you were bombing on the left side, and you were getting to a point where Vini is being marked by 2 players, and you have no option but you put a cross in, and it gets cleared out. And you have got a striker in Mbappe, who was the striker, but even Gonzalo Garcia, who is in the box, they are just not physical enough to do much. So stop that. I would rather we play on the ground. You link up with Vini, and then we get support from maybe Bellingham or Chouameni or Valverde or something, and we play on the ground. We don't play crossing, we play on the ground. And I remember one of the games towards the end of the season, last season, I put Crossing FC. I think it was against Arsenal, that second leg. Crossing FC. Fran Garcia was instructed to be putting in crosses. And my question has always been, last season, why? Who is going to attack those crosses? Mbappe? Like, come on. So, if what he has been told is stop putting in crosses, that's good. Because Fran Garcia has always been known to put crosses into the box. Not because he wants to, but because he was being instructed to. But the defense over, I saw Dean Huijsen spark, and Trent, underwhelming debut, but more to come. Fran Garcia, I think, again, very underwhelming, but defensively, yeah, he's not physically strong either, so that doesn't help. Midfield. Yeah, it was a very weird midfield. Again, Bellingham is still the same Jude from about a month ago. He needs that shoulder operation. I'm not seeing a big change in his game, and I'm seeing the same frustrations in terms of what he said to the linesman, which, go and check it out if you guys haven't already. Chouameni was, yeah, he had a good game, to be honest. He went to centre half in the second half. Arda Güler came on for him in the midfield, and he actually had a very good game in terms of the aerial ability to help out Dean Huijsen. So, not too bad, actually quite good. Fede Valverde, I think he would be the headline here in terms of the penalty miss. We still love Fede, no matter what. And I think the penalty miss is disappointing. It's upsetting, obviously, at the moment of time. You're just like, no, why did he take it? I was always, when you see Vini, Rodrigo, no Mbappe, no Bellingham, they're all off. Mbappe didn't even start, but who takes the penalty? And that's something that I want to be established. If Xabi Alonso frequently takes Vini Jr., Rodrigo, Bellingham, and Mbappe out in terms of sub, if he subs them off frequently, and we get to a stage where we get a penalty, and they aren't on the pitch, we need someone to take them. And look, Modric was on the pitch for this, and I was wanting Modric to take it. I know he missed one recently, like last season or something like that, but or maybe the season before actually. I don't know. But anyways, we need someone who can take it. Um, what's our plan here? You know, Arda Güler? Is it gonna be Valverde? Is it going to be, I don't know? Like, are we gonna get Courtois to take one? Like, who knows? Like, come on, we need a list. Mbappe 1, Vini 2, Bellingham 3, Rodrigo 4, Courtois 5. Whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. Okay, give us a list. And again, he hasn't had time to think about that. I don't think Xabi Alonso sitting there in his office or in training thinking, oh, let me plan out a proper list of penalty kick takers every day. So I want this guy, this guy, this guy, this. I don't think he's there thinking of that. But eventually, you will come to a point where if more penalties are missed than scored, yeah, you have to look at it. But again, no hate, no blame on Fede. Disappointed, of course, but we still love Fede. I saw this comment on Instagram. One mistake won't break or won't ruin 1,000 good things that he has done. So yeah, I agree with that. He has done a lot for the club. He's a player who runs, sweats, bleeds for the badge. So yeah, and the front line I thought was again underwhelming. Rodrigo and Gonzalo Garcia did very well on that goal. Good assist from Rodrigo. Not a clean finish by any means, but who cares? We'll take it. And then there's Vini Jr. Again, man, that dive. I'm not gonna go in hard on Vini. Like I said, I'm not gonna go in hard on anyone because it's the first game. But that dive, I'm sorry, I can't defend it. I can't defend. How are Real Madrid fans supposed to sit there and say, yeah, that's a foul ref, give him a red card, give the Al Hilal player a red card? That guy, he didn't even touch him. He didn't even touch him. How are we supposed to put our fake mask on, fake face on, and defend? We can't just blindly defend, right? We can't just defend it. We can't. We can't. So I have to be honest. That is nowhere near a foul. The yellow card for the dive is justified, I guess. Over when he had the ball, again, we lost that Vinny, where he's just confident, taking on players, dribbling, loving the game, all smiles, just playing, man, playing. Now I know and I understand that he's being targeted and marked in a game by like 4 or 5 players or whatever, right? But still, resorting to dive like that and hit one shot, and that was a terrible shot that like nearly went over the out of the stadium. But not a good game for winning. I think still lots of work to be done, and again we missed Mbappe because as good as Gonzalo Garcia was in terms of scoring that goal, every time I saw this comment again as well. Whenever Trent or whoever put a ball forward, Gonzalo Garcia is a little bit raw. He's not able to control it. If he is able to control it, he's not able to hold it up and link up because he's not physically there yet. Yes, he deserves time to play and train and obviously get himself working towards that. Eventually, he will be a good player if you give him time. But we need a right now solution. We need a right now backup to Mbappe right here, right now. We can't be putting Gonzalo Garcia as the backup. We can't be putting Victor Munoz as the backup. They are stars in the making, but at Real Madrid, it's just not that. We're just not that sort of club to do that unless it's a real emergency. But we had a transfer window after the Club World Cup. Xabi Alonso has already requested for a striker, it seems, a backup striker, who is a hostile type, strong, physically, able to hold up the ball, able to score 10, 15 goals maybe, but someone who can do the job just as normal, maybe not as well, but able to do the job when Mbappe isn't there, right? 5 subs: Modric, Arda Güler, Vasquez, Brahim, and Victor Munoz. Not much else he could have done there for Xabi Alonso. But as a recap, Let's talk about the goals actually. Yeah, like I said, a good play, down the right hand side. Rodrigo gets the ball, gets a true pass forward across to Gonzalo Garcia. Not a clean finish, but who cares? And then the equalizing goal just minutes after Asensio just pull off the shirt, whatever it is. Yeah, just very unnecessary. Just let him go. What's the worst that can happen? Really, maybe he scores anyways, but still, you know, you're taking a gamble by doing that. Gamble failed. They get a guaranteed goal. Ruben Neves sends Courtois the wrong way. Second half, Real Madrid were a little bit more in control, but still nothing. The first 15, 20 minutes of the second half was better, but again, nothing up front. But the first 45 minutes were terrible. And you know what's funny? The time that we don't play well, we score. The time that we start playing well, we can't score. Great. But as a recap to this long ass review, simple. Give these players and give Xabi Alonso the time he needs to implement his system, to get to know these players at a better level, to get to implement his style, his system. Because, like I said earlier, he's barely met some of these guys. Even the guys that he has met since day one, it's only been about 1.5, 2 weeks. So he needs time. Give him time. Let's see how this team performs against Pachuca. Let's see how this team performs against Salzburg. And then if we can make it to the next round, which sounds very bad, but I'm not going to say we will. We should, but I'm not going to say we will. But give him time. I think he said this. I'll leave this towards the end, and I'll leave this as we end. He said this at the start. I think a few days ago, might have been maybe a week ago or so. Heading into the competition, he said, "We will finish the tournament better than we started," and we are gonna see signs of that. We are gonna see signs of that. So just be patient. Give him time. Give the manager time. Give the players time. And we will be back. But I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit the did, subscribe to show us on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.